Hello, hello. John S. Rhodes here of the Rhodes Brothers. And this is Greater Wealth Through Mastery. Super excited that you're here because this is all about old man wisdom. Now, this could apply as well to old women wisdom, but this happens to come from a 95-year-old man. There's a list that I have that I'm going to go through and provide to you about the things that an old man has passed along that you need to hear. And if you stick with me until the end, I will also provide you with the 5 things that old people regret, which can help you have a breakthrough in the here and the now so that you don't regret the things in your life, no matter what your age. So let's get started. All right, number 1 is sing in the shower. I think the idea here is that you need to let loose sometimes, you need to express emotion, and it is worth your time to actually be in tune with the universe. And I do mean tune, and I mean universe. Music is awesome for the heart and the soul, and singing in the shower can be a lot of fun. There's no particular tune, I think, that you need to be whistling or need to be singing, but the idea is to, I think, express yourself and enjoy the sound that you've got, right? It's time for meditation. It's a time for relaxation. Number 2, treat everyone you meet like you want to be treated. That's the golden rule, do unto others and so forth. I think you know that it is great because it's really the law of reciprocity in a unique way, right? So if you invest in other people by treating them well, you're adding to the bank. You're filling their bucket and your bucket at the same time. And very often that energy will come back to you in a very positive way. So it's great advice. Number 3, watch a sunrise at least once a year. Now, here's what I think is interesting. Watching a sunrise, experiencing a sunrise is sort of it's cool from a visual perspective. It's really awesome on the eyes. The colors are unique and wonderful, but it's something that happens every single day, and yet we just sort of take it for granted. And this grounds us. It sets us in the moment. It lets us know that life is real, life is happening, and that there are cycles all around us all the time. And I think that we forget that we operate on cycles, everything from a heartbeat to the day happening to the moon rising and the moon falling, and there are other types of cycles as well, of course. Number 4, never refuse homemade brownies. Kind of depends on what's in the brownies. It kind of depends on if they are double super fudge chocolate chip brownies, but in all seriousness, brownies are wonderful, a gift from the sugar gods. Although I do have comments about sugar here on the channel, but once in a while, look, if someone's going to offer you a brownie or offer you food, it is a good idea to do your very best to accept the gift. Number 5, strive for excellence, not perfection. I think many people get caught up in perfectionism. I know I'm guilty of this. And what I will say is that excellence is a process, and it's something you can always be working on for infinity, right? It's something that will never stop growing because it's a process, and a process can be improved and improved and improved some more. Whereas perfection itself, if you're trying to achieve perfection, it's like the horizon. You'll never make it. Thank you, old man. What wonderful wisdom there. I love this one. Number 6 is plant a tree on your birthday. And I think this is about, as you age, planting a tree is nurturing, it's beginning, it's giving birth, it's adding value to the planet. You know that, you're breathing in and breathing out, and you know that trees clean the air. So you're adding to the cleanliness even of planet Earth, which is very interesting in and of itself. But the act of digging in the dirt as well, it's playful, it's fun, it takes you back to your youth. And if you're more of a gardener, it's just something that you do and it's part of your process anyway. Well, why not go from, let's say, flowers or vegetables to a tree? I love this. It's working with your hands, coordination of, and you have to pick the kind of tree as well. So you're making a choice about, hey, what kind of legacy am I going to leave behind? Which, family tree as well. Wink, wink, right? So that's a good one. I really like that one. Number 7, learn 3 clean jokes. In this day and age, there's nothing like having humor, smiling, being personable and really gifting something to someone else. And one of the greatest gifts you can give is a smile, is a wink, is a connection with another person. And you can do that with a joke. And so if you know a joke or two or three, you're able to work with those jokes and have a great time with other people the very first time you meet them. And even if you tell the same joke to the same person, it's okay. They'll allow that. But a joke for kids and maybe a joke for people that are a little bit older, and then maybe a joke for everyone in between. Clean jokes, of course, they are the best and most useful for you. Number 8, return borrowed vehicles with the gas tank full. And this is really about making sure that you do not take advantage of someone else. In fact, I try to do this for every single person, whether they are in the family or not in the family, whether they are friends or not. If I am using a vehicle, I do try to make sure the gas tank is full so they don't have to worry, they don't have to fret. It's not even on their mind. They can just glance and they can just know I am ready to go. So you're setting someone else up for success. You're also showing people what you would like. This is do unto others as you would like them to do to you. Do for you, do with you. And that's a wonderful thing. Number 9, never waste an opportunity to tell someone you love them. And I think this is so important because life is fleeting. We never know when we're going to go, when we're going to kick off. Death is always knocking. It just is. It's crazy. You never know what you are going to get. Okay. Number 10, this is similar to the gas tank. Leave everything a little bit better than you found it. Very often, if you're borrowing a car from someone else and there's not a full tank of gas, well, guess what? That's pretty normal. That is pretty normal that there is a full tank of gas. So by you putting in the gas all the way to the full line, you're making that car and that experience and that friend better suited for what they have coming next. A drive, you're saving them money. You're putting money in their pocket by filling the tank as well. So leave things better, clean up, right? One of the things that I think is great is that if you happen to teach youth sports, then it's a wonderful idea to have the kids clean up the grounds, to pick up the trash. I've been a baseball coach on and off for years, and one of the things I always have the players do is clean up the dugout. Pick up the garbage, even if it's not their garbage. It's a great habit for them. It's a life lesson. It's trivial and it takes just a minute or two at the most, and it's leaving things better than you found them. I think that's very, very important. Number 11 is keep it simple. Guess what? We're going to keep it simple and move on to number 12. Think big thoughts, but relish small pleasures. I think about this as setting big goals, but then to achieve those goals or that vision for humanity, whatever that might be, you need to execute. You need to apply action. You need to apply energy. And on the Rhodes Brothers channel, the videos that we create, many of them are along these lines. We provide you with the strategy, the big picture, but we also make sure that we give you the how-to. We give you the steps that you need to follow. And if you need even more help, of course, we have teaching and training available for that as well. The exact tools, software perhaps, and so forth. Number 13, become the most positive and enthusiastic person you know. This is a real challenge for me. I tend to be not moody, but I do get sucked into the vortex, meaning I really focus on things. I tend to just think and think and think and then act, and think and think and think and then act. I tend to have a very concrete way of thinking. I very often push myself to be more spiritual and to think higher thoughts, extra dimensional, intradimensional thoughts. I do that on purpose. I meditate on purpose so that I move beyond the mundane, the everyday, the basic, the real world hands-on, because it's so easy to be captured by this world, to be sucked in to what is happening all around us. There's so much more going on than what our 5 senses can tell us. And I know that, but I forget it and I get sucked in. So if you feel like you're getting sucked in, then just make sure that you're thinking in other dimensions, that you're thinking spiritually, that you feel the emotion of the moment. Sometimes when you're having a conversation with someone, it's good to leave an air gap, to leave time to let the emptiness create its own energy for yourself and obviously for your friends and for your colleagues as well. So that's my thinking on that I think the old man has shared with us. I think it's really, really great. Number 14, be forgiving of yourself and others. How many times have you screwed up? Too many times to count, right? I'm the same. So many screw ups, so many problems. And very often I am hard on myself. I berate myself. I beat myself up. And it's very frustrating because that is its own gravitational black hole of misery pulling me down. And there's no excuse for that because all that you need to do is be grateful. Gratitude is what eliminates and defuses the gravity, really, that can suck us in to a dark place. There's no excuse. We don't need to be doing that. Instead, we can be grateful for all that we have, grateful for our relationships, grateful for any wealth that we have, grateful for the food we had, grateful for waking up, grateful for the sunlight, for the sunrise. You can continue, and the light will outshine the darkness. It just takes one candle in the darkness to wipe out that darkness, to eliminate the depth of despair that you might be pulled into. The frustration, the anxiety, all of these things can be wiped out if you forgive yourself for the past mistakes you've made and try very hard for not making mistakes in the future. Know that you will, but you'll probably make less mistakes as you get older. Old man wisdom tells us that as you get older, you do get wiser, and I believe that's the case for everyone. Another thing is number 15, say thank you a lot. Number 16, say please a lot. In fact, if you happen to have children and they're young, one of the very best things that I have found personally over the years, nieces and nephews as well, and my own children, is really instill in them saying please and thank you. Even if it's automatic, it goes a long way. Once in a while, I will pause and I will make sure that the other person knows that I am legitimately, from a heart-oriented, a heart-centered place, I will make sure that they hear me say, please. I'll add different tonality, and I'll make sure that I make a certain type of eye contact when I say thank you. I try to smile when I say that, and I really do mean it. As I'm looking at you right now, thank you for being here. Many people will not make it this far in the video. They can't keep their attention, they cannot focus, they scurry away, and they miss out on old man wisdom. But it's true, so thank you very much. That is very, very sincere. Number 17, avoid negative people. So what I have found is this, is that there are people who detract from your life and there are people who add to your life. Now, if it happens to be a family member, do your best to work with them, to appreciate who they are, what they are, the great moments. But if they drag you down, find ways to minimize the time with them. Or what I have found very effective is find other channels to communicate with them if you need to. Again, if it's a family member, instead of getting on the phone with them or being with them in person, maybe you text back and forth. Maybe you write them a letter, like an actual postal letter, and send it through the mail. That is one thing that I've done, or those things that I've done that have worked really, really well for those people that I'm very close with, but maybe I don't want to spend physical time with for one reason or another. Or I can't spend physical time with them for one reason or another. Just time and distance, it can be very, very challenging. So that can be really, really good. And if it's a negative person, well, you might actually have to say, sayonara. You might have to say goodbye to that person. I mean, it just happens sometimes. You have people in your life that you cannot be around because they are just, it's too much of a negative black hole. The energy vampires. Perhaps you've heard of that expression before. Number 16, wear polished shoes. This is an old man. So the polished shoes idea is take pride in what you own. Maintain what you've already got. Appreciate and love what you've already accomplished. And you can do that with small acts with those things that you've already got. You can repair something that does not need to be replaced. You can polish your shoes. You can do things that maintain what you've got. Even going around your home or your car and picking things up. It's a type, it's a style of maintenance that can go a long, long way. I love that. Wear polished shoes. And you know the kind of people that I'm talking about that still polish their shoes. And there's something about that. There's nothing like a man in a suit and seeing those polished shoes. I still do that every once in a while. It's been a couple of years, but I do that as well. Something to think about. Number 19, remember other people's birthdays. I have an extraordinarily difficult time with this. I only know a few birthdays of those people in my family. It's probably 8 to 10 people, family and friends. The rest of them, I have to use my second memory and my third memory. I use a desk calendar, and I literally every year go through the desk calendar and I write down friends and family birthdays on that physical desk calendar. And I also put reminders in my mobile devices and on my computer as well, so that I do not forget, because we need that as we get older, and people love to hear happy birthday. Now, there are certain social media platforms that will remind you, like, hey, this is so-and-so's birthday. One of the tricks that I've found, and it's not really a trick in any mischievous way or anything, is that when I see someone's birthday popping up on social media, I'll then write it down. I'll write it on my calendar so that I can see it for next year. I will also look to see if I have their postal address, and I'll send them a quick happy birthday, just a quick card, and say, hey, thinking of you. Sorry I missed your birthday a few days ago. People love that as well. Just the acknowledgement, the actual post-it note, or the postal note, just goes a long way. Very, very cool stuff. Another thing here is number 20, commit yourself to constant improvement. This is about being part of the process, building a process, maintaining the process, improving the process, focusing on the journey, not the destination. I think so many people, I call it resulting. So many people are resulting through life, and that makes you jealous and envious. So instead of resulting through life, work on processing your way through life. Don't shoot for the result. Have a goal, have a dream, have a vision, but use the process and also habits as part of the process. So what is really great in terms of putting this all together is you can have a grand vision, the big vision, and then set up a goal or goals in relation to the biggest vision that you've got. Know what your skills and talents are, line up those skills and talents to the goals and then the vision, and then get a load of this. You can have a process for achieving the goal, and to achieve the goal, you can use habits. And you can start with atomic habits, very small habits. The book Atomic Habits, it's very basic, very straightforward, but that is a process, right? So build the process and use habits to further fuel the bigger process. And then from there, the process fulfills the goals, the goals fulfill bigger goals, and those bigger goals fulfill and help you lean toward the biggest possible vision that you've got, which you'll probably never achieve, which is perfectly fine because it is about the journey. The old man wisdom says it's about that journey. It is about the journey, not the destination. And in fact, everything that you're doing along the way of the journey is creating these results. It's creating these moments in time. It's creating these memories as well. So it's not as though you're not leaving a legacy. It's not as though you're not achieving things and stuff, and that objects aren't created and products aren't launched and friends aren't created and so on and so on. What matters is it's the actual process, not the result that matters much, because you're going to get results. You can see how excited I am. I'm very, very jacked about this. Yeah, the constant improvement is a big deal. Have a firm handshake. So no one likes a limp, wet, kind of weak handshake. Men and women, especially men, but women don't really like that either. You don't want to crush someone's hand either, but you want a firm handshake. That's knowing exactly the right amount of pressure to apply. It's about putting your hand fully into the other person's hand, really showing that warmth. I would say also with a great handshake, what I do that always seems to work well, if you need a little bit of a tip, is to look at the other person's hand and make sure you make that contact and go deep in their hand and vice versa, the best that you can. And then once you've got that in that split second, immediately look up and look into their eyes. Make eye contact. So make the physical contact and then the eye contact. And if you really want the process, it's a big smile, make eye contact, look down, hand to hand, firm, looking down, right? Into the hand. And then once that's been established, immediately look up with a big smile again. And you can do whatever you want from that point. But that's how people can make that connection. I was never taught this. And in fact, what's really interesting is the vast majority of people were never taught a great handshake. They were told to shake his hand, shake her hand. They were told to do that. And then they watched other people. Well, if you're watching people who are clowns, who don't know how to shake hands, you're going to see limp, weak, just not good handshakes. So learn how to do a great handshake. By the way, if you watch this video again, if you just scroll back a little bit, you can see how I established a process for a handshake. Eye contact, smile, hand contact, look back up, eye contact, smile again. So you have bookends of smile and eye contact, smile, eye contact, and in the middle, the actual friction, the actual hand-to-hand physicality happens. But that's how you can create processes as well. And I know I went on for that, but you can do that in every part of your life about how you interact with people, and that's how you be successful. That's how you gain command in life. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. Number 22, send lots of Valentine's cards and sign them. Old Man Wisdom says, spread the love. Old Man Wisdom is very, very clear that you want to express your feelings. If you don't express your feelings, you're just a robot, no better than just an AI robot, kind of going through life. You don't want to do that. You want to be known as a person of integrity, a person of value, maybe a person who has some spirituality, a person who has heart, who can love and you can connect with, not someone who can't make eye contact, not someone, because if I'm looking away, like, look what I'm doing. If I'm constantly doing that and never make eye contact, it's really weird. It's not cool. Very often when I look away, it's because I'm thinking, like, I won't like that. I did it again. I'm thinking, or I'm referencing something. But in the real world, I'm trying to really, very, very hard. I'm trying to make eye contact and maintain that eye contact. I mean, as is now, you can see me look, watch my eyes. It's very interesting. I'm looking over here because I'm literally looking at a list to make sure that I provide you with maximum value as I'm working through the list. Okay, number 23, look people in the eye. Interesting. So Old Man Wisdom says, look people in the eye. Very, very important. I mean, just the eyes are everything. Window to the soul. Never forget that. Eye contact is also very, very sexually powerful. That doesn't mean sex as much as it means power and also control and attention, and very importantly, just interest. But it is sexual tension and energy. There's no doubt about that. It's just the way that it is. It doesn't mean anything. It just means what it means. Okay, number 24. Be the first person to say hello. This is not about being aggressive. This is about being welcoming and being open. This is about being expressive. This is about an opportunity to smile, to show people that you're a real person. This is an opportunity to open your heart, open your spirit. It truly is. And why not be the first? If you're trying to gain some advantage, saying hello first, that works. If you're also trying to defer to someone else and let them shine, you can say a quick hello and allow them to really, really express themselves as they wish. Very good stuff. Number 25, return all things you borrow. Goes without saying, if you borrow something, give it back. People keep track of this stuff. Think of the neighbors who borrow things and what that entails, right? If you never get it back, or if a friend borrows something, they didn't steal it, but it feels a little bit like it. And no one likes that. We don't like to keep track of those things either. And we love it when things come back to us. And we also want it to be sort of a revolving door where we can borrow from them and they can borrow from us. Have you ever noticed that when someone borrows something from you, that you don't want to borrow anything from them until you get back what they borrowed from you. That's right. That's what I mean by the revolving door. You want them to borrow and then return what they borrowed better than what it was. So I've allowed people to borrow my lawnmower in the past, many years ago. So they borrowed the lawnmower, they filled the tank with gas, and they cleaned the lawnmower up more than what it was to begin with. Old man wisdom says, great idea. And now I don't mind going to them and borrowing something that they have, which in turn I clean up and I improve and give it back. So this is a way of actually improving and increasing the value of things in the world, even when someone else is not paying a dime and they're using our stuff and we're using their stuff. Everything gets better, and the rapport that you have with the other person has improved as well. It's just a good thing. It's a virtuous circle, and I love that. Number 26, make new friends, but cherish the old ones. So you are constantly on the lookout for people that you know, like, and trust. So we're always looking in the crowds for that guy or that woman, that friend, that relative. We're always looking for certainty. We're looking for grounding. But I would also say that it's very important to find and build relationships with new people, ever growing your network. Really, every person that you know is probably going to be connected to another 5 or 10 or 15 people that could be very valuable to you. And not in like a bad way, but in a really good way where you can help them as well. So as you grow your network one person at a time, you're really growing it 10, 20, 30 people at a time. And you can become a hub. People love to connect with people who are highly connected. So the more people that you connect with, the more valuable that you are to those people that you already are friends with or that you already know. And every other person that comes into your network, the value is just multiplied. It is, again, a virtuous circle. Everyone wins as the connections increase. And new friends, again, fantastic. It also will strengthen that muscle so you're less anxious, less frustrated, less depressed, less alone. No one wants to be alone. So that is a key reason to make new friends and, dig the well before you're thirsty, and also cherish the old ones. Look, friendships that last a lifetime, few and far between. That's the bit there. That's about cherishing the old friendships. Number 27, keep secrets. The idea here isn't do secret things and don't tell people. It's that if someone confides in you, then what you can do to help them out is hold that secret close and maintain that relationship, that piece of your relationship. It's not about hiding anything. It's about trust, and it's about integrity. It is about helping the other person where you're a springboard. You can provide them with feedback. You can just be there possibly to just listen and absorb some of the positivity, some of the negativity. You can just be there as a true friend. That is the key of keeping secrets, and trust goes a long way, especially in this day and age. Number 28, plant flowers every spring. This is a lot like planting trees. Number 29, have a dog, man's best friend, humanity's best friend. It's great to have a dog. Great way to learn how to be patient, great way to have fun and play. Gives you something to do if you take the dog for a walk. If you don't happen to have kids and you're young and you're like, hey, what's it like having kids? You can have a pet. You can have a dog in particular. Sort of like training wheels, gives you an idea about what maintenance might be, at least for maintenance. For the first few years, that can go a long way. It can be very, very useful. Number 30, always accept an outstretched hand. So if someone's trying to shake your hand, shake their hand back. It's a sign of friendship. Don't pull back. Don't worry about the cooties. I hope that's appropriate to say. Don't worry about it. Just shake the hand and do your very, very best to give a firm handshake. Number 31, stop blaming others. Basically, no matter how bad things are, it's like it's your responsibility, because you need to be the one who deals with what's happening in your life. You need to be the one who understands and accepts what is happening all around. It's sort of your field of consciousness and how you perceive the world. Very, very important that if things aren't quite going the way that you want, you probably have at least some small bit of responsibility for what has been happening that's not great in your life. What old man wisdom says is it's probably a very good idea to accept nearly all, if not all, the responsibility for what's going on in your life. And this is very difficult. The younger you are, the more difficult this is. It's a difficult pill to swallow, especially if you feel like you can totally blame someone else. It's better if you can blame yourself, because you can't control other people. You can't control infinity, that is, the universe. You can't control everything that's happening around you all the time. But what you can control is yourself. You can control how you perceive things, how you interpret what you perceive, if nothing else. But you can even adjust how you perceive the world. And the way that you can overcome the negativity is, again, by blessing the obstacle. You can bless the challenge. You can be grateful for the opportunity to improve the situation. Again, if you're younger, this is more difficult. If you're older, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and you can share this with other people. You could actually turn this even into a business opportunity where you accept the challenge for your life, the failures, the obstacles, the challenges, and you can find a way to solve all the problems around you. Take responsibility instead of trying to find someone else who is going to solve it for you, right? This is a great way to expand and learn and become a far better person, a more valuable friend, a better husband, a better lover, a better niece, nephew. It doesn't even matter. You can become a better grandparent if you accept pretty much everything for what's happening in your life, and it's on you. It's a heavy burden. It is a heavy burden, but I have faith that you can do that. Number 33, wave at kids in school buses. It's fun. Give them the thumbs up, clap, smile at things they do. It's really fun, especially as you get older. There's nothing like a really, really old person smiling and waving at kids on a bus. It's really, I remember that as a kid, and it was always a lot of fun. I'll tell you a quick story. There was a guy in our neighborhood when I was young, and he was very old, and he'd ride his bike from his house all the way downtown. It was probably about maybe a mile and a half, 2 mile bike ride. And he was a very old man. He would have been probably in his late 80s into his 90s, maybe even mid 90s, like this old man wisdom. Anyhow, he would ride by on his bike, and people would, I picked this up, people would yell to him, shave and a haircut. And he would do this. He'd raise his arm and he'd go, 5 cents. I have no idea why. Probably because a shave and a haircut was 5 cents back when he was a very, very young man. Compare that to prices nowadays for a shave and a haircut, or even a haircut. But it was something that always put a smile on my face. And then I saw other kids doing that, and older people doing that. People in their 20s and 30s and 40s would do that. Shave and a haircut, 5 cents. It's so ridiculous, but it put a smile on people's face, and it made him part of the community. That's the same thing with waving to the kids on the bus. It makes you part of the community. It's like a full circle kind of thing. Very, very cool. Lots of fun there. Number 34, be there when people need you. Obviously, old people, I'm saying really old people, have a tremendous amount of wisdom. But keep this in mind. If you are in your middle ages, heck, even if you're in your 20s, you still have more wisdom, life experience than people who are, younger in their teens, for example. Anyone who's younger probably has less experience, less mileage on them than you do. And there has to be something that you're able to provide to them. So keep that in mind. Be open, be accepting of your ability to help other people in that way. Like if they need help, you can probably help them far more than you realize. Sometimes it's just listening. Sometimes it's basically doing nothing and just listening and being there for people. Very, very good stuff. I really like this one. Number 35, don't expect life to be fair. I think people that expect everything to be, roses and butterflies and rainbows and unicorns, if you expect that, like 100%, like that's the way life is, and I'm not getting it, you're going to end up frustrated. If you aspire for that, then try to create that, build and try to make goodness and these things, love, spread. This is all very, very good, very useful, but don't expect, don't expect life to be totally, completely fair. You will get hit with challenges, obstacles, bad luck, if you want to call it that. Things will not work like you wish that they would work, and that's just the way it is. Be prepared for what is going to happen. Things are going to happen, and just be ready. It's okay. Number 36, don't underestimate the power of love. Can't agree more. I can't agree more. The more loving you are, the more spiritual you are, the more you're able to share love and love others with all their problems and all the things that they do that frustrate you. The more that you can do that, the more you will love yourself. And the more that you love yourself, the more love you can share. It is a key of a great life. Number 37, drink champagne for no reason at all. I think the idea here is to always be celebrating in small ways. Always be celebrating in small ways. Find a reason once or twice per day to celebrate life, to celebrate wonderful little things in life. It might be a piece of chocolate. It might be taking a deep breath. It might be smiling for no reason. It might be singing in the shower for no reason. Number 38, live your life as an exclamation, not an explanation. So that means giving it your all. If you're going to do something, do it. And do it with gusto. Do it with strength. Old man wisdom, right? So if you have to explain, like, well, I did this. If you have to make excuses, well, here's why I didn't. Usually if you're making up excuses, it's because of something you didn't do. If you can't do something, just say no. It's very difficult to strengthen that muscle, but saying no and learning how to use that muscle is one of the best things you can do in life. Number 39, don't be afraid to say, I made a mistake. Number 40, don't be afraid to say, I don't know. You don't know everything. I don't know everything. You make mistakes every day. I make mistakes every day. These are very, very acceptable things. Instead of trying to push up against them, instead of trying to fight and instead of trying to correct these things, instead, just say, just put it on the table, just express and get it out there and deal with the chips or the cards as they fall on the table. 41, compliment even small improvements. Compliment yourself as well. Give yourself positive energy. When other people are doing little, cool, awesome, small things, no matter how small, do your very best to say, hey, great job, wonderful. I saw what you did there. Even like a little wink, like, hey, like you're sticking with me. You're sticking with me and I appreciate that. Hey, I appreciate that, right? And I'm smiling, like it's really great. I mean it, it's really great. Many people are not here learning what old man wisdom is really all about. Okay, another one is, oh, I love this one. 42, keep your promises no matter what. If you make a promise, it is like saying, my word is my bond. Don't make a promise you can't keep. If you can't keep the promise, it's probably because you literally couldn't keep it. Don't just make promises willy-nilly, as they say. Instead, your word is your bond. When you make a commitment, do your very best to stick with it. It's very, very good. And this is being true to yourself, and this is being true to your friends and your family and those people you're interacting with. This will also teach you, if you're very firm and strict about this, this will teach you what you can say yes to. You can only say yes to a few things per day. And in fact, you can only say yes to a few things in life, big things, that is. Everything else has to go bye-bye. Everything else you have to say no to. You will be better off saying no to most things than yes. No should be your default for most things. No as a default is very powerful. Number 43, marry only for love. The idea here, I think, is that if you marry for money or convenience, ultimately you'll be unhappy, you'll live a life of regrets. You don't want that. Number 44, rekindle old friendships. And this goes back to the previous comments about friendships. Just because you haven't spoken to a friend in quite a while, you can reach out to them. You can talk to them. You can try to rekindle the friendship. You can see where it goes, see where they've been, hear their stories. There's nothing like stories from people that you haven't heard from in a long time. Number 45, count your blessings. There are many, many good things in your life. Consider them, dwell on them. And one of my biggest recommendations, on top of the old man wisdom that's been provided, again, a 95-year-old man sharing his very, very best wisdom, is in terms of counting your blessings, you can make it very concrete by having a gratitude journal, or at a minimum, a daily journal outlining things that you saw or did the previous day or that day, depends on when you're writing in your journal. Keep track of fun things. You can keep track of some basics like the time and the weather. You can keep track of your weight. You can also keep track of accomplishments, little things that you did. You can keep track of what you're grateful for, what you saw. It can be very, very small, and it can serve as a second memory for you. Years down the road, you can look back in your journal, your gratitude journal, and you can really, really enjoy that. And by the way, one of the fun things is to doodle in your gratitude journal. It's fun to create and draw. It's not always about words. It's sometimes about icons and symbols and little stick figures. And if you can really draw, then go to it. Number 46, call your mother. Number 47, and your father too, if they happen to be alive. I couldn't agree with that more. It's very, very important. You only have one mother and one father, biological, that is, and love them for all that they're worth. And I would say the same thing about everyone that's in your life. As much as possible, spread the love, share the love, make sure other people know that they are loved. They should feel loved, not just, hey, I love you, but they should actually feel that you love them. It doesn't need to be gifts, it doesn't need to be money, but it can be a small hug, it can be a wink, it can be a smile, it can be something that is a true expression. It can even be the tonality. I love you is not the same thing as I love you, and like really mean it. There's a difference in how you say things. Be aware that your tonality, your expression, the affect of how you say what you say does truly have an impact. Now, like I said, most people simply are not going to make it this far in this old man wisdom teaching and training. Again, this is a 95-year-old man who provided this to us, and I'm just a conduit. I'm just expressing his thoughts. This was a list from many, many years ago, and the old man is likely no longer with us. But because you did stick with us in this extensive teaching and training, here are the 5 most common regrets. Now, this is based on research. This is based on readings that I've done. I utilized some AI to extract even more, and it's been boiled down basically scientifically. These are the 5 most common regrets as detailed from many, many sources. Number 1, I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. You need to know yourself, and then you need to be true to yourself. So if you're here with me now, I believe you're that kind of person where you're not a robot. You're here to independently think. You're here to have a eureka moment or two. Maybe you need a breakthrough. Well, this should help you break through right here. That little tiny mind shift can change everything. So do not live a life of regret. And by being true to yourself, aligning your vision and your goals and your habits to what you truly want out of life is the way to go. Regret number 2, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. What this really gets down to is if you're working for someone else, for a cause or a purpose that you don't believe in, or you're only doing for money and no other purpose, you will regret that. However, if you are working on something that's in great alignment with your life's purpose, the regret will go way down and even be negated, and even will be positive where there is no regret. Every day, every opportunity where I'm able to create and share part of my vision and help everyone around me to the maximum is a day where I have far less regret than I would have otherwise. I'm trying to give it my all. I'm really, truly trying to help you and share value, provide value, and establish a rapport with you so that we can work together possibly in the future, or so that you can share the value here with other people. So if you have found value in this, keep that in mind. In fact, go ahead right now and hit the like button. Number 3, I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. It is very difficult to express how we feel. And the reason for that is that we feel guilt and shame in some cases. In other cases, and probably the biggest reason, is that we fear rejection. When we say, I love you, like, whoa, if the other person doesn't say it back, I will be rejected by them. I'll feel less. I'll be cut from the herd. I'll be the small, wimpy, weak one. The other person will have one up on me. The other person will laugh at me. You need to get over this. You need to strengthen the muscle that allows you to express how you feel, and then don't give a damn. You have to actually not care. It's very counterintuitive. If you want to better express your emotions and your feelings, you need to be able to do it as emotionally and as powerfully as you can, and then not care about the fallout or the results. The process is you expressing and feeling your feelings and letting others know. At the same time, you have to disassociate yourself from the result, which means, what is the other person going to say? You can't say I love you to someone and use that as a lever or as a weapon to have them say I love you back. You should be giving that feeling, you should be giving that expression out and providing that value absolutely free, and not expecting it in return. If you do, you're setting yourself up for regret and frustration and pain. So I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. Exactly. And as you get older, you will find that you're better and better able to do that if you've worked on it and you strengthen that expression of feelings muscle. Number 4, I wish I stayed in touch with my friends. The reason for that is, as we get older and as we think we have friends, but they're just acquaintances. They're perhaps people that we work with. They are people who are just neighbors, but they're not friends. They're not people who we have an actual emotional rapport with, where we've shared true, meaningful life experiences. I believe you have friendship in you. I believe we could be friends. I don't know when or how that's going to happen, but it is possible. See, the possibility is so important. The ability to think ahead about when we might meet face to face, when it might be over a Zoom call or some kind of teleconference. It might be on a webinar. There'll be some interaction that we might have. And so I want to stay in touch with those people that want to stay in touch with me, because there's some wavelength, there's some energy between us. And I think that's of critical importance. And importantly here, staying in touch with your friends, this is the key. This is truly the key. As we get older, we become isolated and more lonely. And that is our own doing. I take responsibility for my own loneliness, my own abandonment, right? Because I'm abandoning myself. In order to take care of myself, I need to maintain my relationships with other people. I have to invest in other people if I want to invest in myself. And I have to invest in myself if I want to invest in other people. I need a reason to reach out to other people. I need a story I can tell them. I need to let them know what I've done. I need to, importantly, find a way that I can help them, cheer them up, be a better listener, tell them about something that I did that might improve their life. I want to help you improve your life. The Rhodes Brothers want to increase your wealth, your relationships, to help you get stronger and fitter, to have a better life. And this is very much about staying in touch with yourself, staying in touch with your friends. And last but not least, this is number 5. This is of the common regrets. I wish I had let myself be happier. A lot of times what happens is we get busy living life and we let life happen to us. We don't work with life. we don't do those things that are deliberately happy energy creating. Okay, so what we're doing is we're just trying to make money. We're working on some goal without understanding that the process should be joyful, can be joyful, and we can get into a flow state. We can get into a state where positive emotions run free and wild. And there's no reason why you can't do that right now. There's no reason why you can't increase your entertainment and joy. You can actually pick one day per week, one day per month, and put on something like, talk with friends, a specific friend, name the name, name the time. You can also do things like express how you feel. You can write these things down. You can put it on a post-it note and put it in the mirror, in the morning when you're brushing your teeth, for example. You can look at it at night as well. You can have a gratitude journal that allows you to keep track of these things over time. There's no reason why you can't do this. It's a very, very, very small thing to allow yourself to be happy. And I'm going to say that again. It's a small thing to allow yourself to be happy. So many people don't know how to be happy. It can be very small. Did you know that just smiling alone makes you happier? Even if you're not happy at all whatsoever, just smiling forces your mind and your consciousness to be happier. You will feel physiologically happier by forcing yourself to smile. You can do it over and over and over again, and your state, right, the actual feeling of happiness will increase. You're filling the bucket with happiness. You can get up, you can jump around, you can go for a walk, you can pet the dog, but you need to increase small acts of happiness. By doing that, you're filling that bucket. And eventually it just drenches you and you're being taken care of. And then you can express that happiness to other people. When you express happiness to other people, they become more happy. If you learn a new joke, right, your 3 jokes, you can express that joke to other people. When you tell people that you love them, they feel better. When you give them a hug, they feel better. When you give that person a wonderful handshake when you meet them and you haven't seen them in a while, that makes them feel better. You can feel happy about those relationships. You can feel happy about the smiling. You need to give yourself permission to be happy. So many people, they're not giving themselves permission to be happy. Well, I'm giving you permission to have permission, to give permission to yourself. Just unlock it. That is the breakthrough. That's old man wisdom for you. It is truly old man wisdom. These are life lessons, very powerful, and blessings to you and your family. What do you think? What have I missed? What did the old man miss? Does this vibe? Does this match? Does this marry up with your experience? Let me know in the comments below. And also, please send this episode to someone who might benefit from its message. One last really quick thing I want to point out here is that you now know how to take action on at least one thing based on this old man wisdom. So please, in the comments below, let me know what the one thing is that you are going to do, the biggest thing that old man wisdom has taught you. Now, in the next video, and you can actually see it on this screen, it's very likely, it's right there. If you follow that, you'll actually get the next lesson that you need to be more wealthy, more successful, have a better relationship, and really achieve the next breakthrough that you're looking for. That's what I've got today. As always, the Rhodes Brothers thank you, and please do follow through on that next video. We'll see you in the next training. Take care.